Hi and welcome back to the Review Tuesday. My name's Ruben and this is my review for The Last of Us, a HBO original series based on the very loved game, based on a game that I love very much myself. Non-spoilers, let's jump in. Joel and Ellie, a pair connected through the harshness of the world they live in, are forced to endure brutal circumstances and ruthless killers on a trek across post-pandemic America. There's going to be two bands of people that come into watching this. Those that have played the games, especially that first game, a number of times. You've probably played it on the various console versions that you've had, the remakes of the remakes. There's been a number and I've played them all. I've probably played this first game 6 or 7 times. I know people have played a lot more than that. And then you're going to have the camp of people who've probably heard about the game, maybe seen a clip or something, but coming into it basically almost fresh. And so we're going to have two people that are like, okay, this is the amazing first time story. And then you're going to have people that played the games that are going to go, okay, I can't wait to see those moments and how they have adapted them. But I'm also really nervous because probably for those that have played the first game, it's one of the best games you've ever played in storytelling. The story is second to none. The emotional gut punches that you get in this, at least in the game, for me, brought me to tears from beginning of the game, in the middle of the game, and the end of the game. No shame, was emotionally wrecked while playing this game. And if I sound a bit breathy, I've had a week from hell with my health. I've had pneumonia and been in hospital twice, so that's just a little bit of Ruben sounds a bit weird. Why is he speaking like he's a bit hoarse? Bad horse, bad horse, bad horse, bad horse. Also struggling to breathe. It's probably because I am a little, but I really wanted to get this review out. So there's 9 episodes. The first episode is the longest. I think it's 85 minutes. The last episode is the shortest, the 9th one. And we go on this harrowing journey exactly like you would expect it to be in a pandemic. So we, the viewer, find ourselves in I guess it's been 20 years in a post-civilization where we have little encampments of people just trying to survive in a world where people have been turned into plant-type zombies is the best way I can describe it. Clickers, there's variants of these zombie-type creatures, but they aren't really the big bad. They are the thing that the world is turned into that you need to survive. What you need to survive is humans. It's always the same for the zombie series. The humans are often more vicious. The monsters you can fight and defeat, but it's the thinking humans of the way we think, what we think, how evil we can be out there when law is no longer really a part of it, when you have bandits and groups that come together to do vile atrocities. That is what this world is like in amongst real monsters. And so that's the journey that we find ourselves 20 years in after we've been introduced to our characters of something horrific happening. I'm very jealous of people experiencing this story for the first time because I think it's going to bring you to a place where you're like, oh, this is what a good story is. Because there's been a lot of content on TV. I think maybe we've forgotten a little bit what good storytelling is. And I think that's where this series shines, mostly because we still have the creative people that were making the game and the story, Neil Druckmann, all in this as well. So we have an original story that's now been adapted with 2 fantastic leads. Pedro Pascal, who plays Joel, our broken man, who himself goes on a character building experience in amongst this world. He is so broken because of what has happened at the beginning of this series that he almost doesn't want to interact with this world. He's just living daily life to life because you gotta live, maybe. And then we meet Ellie, who is broken herself. Her background story is also very dark, and they form this unlikely surrogate family. And so we get to see the journey that they go on. There is a MacGuffin storyline, the thing that leads them to get to point A to B. So it's an adventure journeying across. And I've always loved those journey adventures, the people you meet along the way, the things that happen to them. It's an unexpected journey like A Hobbit's Tale. I'm going on an adventure! That sort of adventure that is often horror, and people often equate having adventure with having horror moments. And that's definitely what you get in this. The cinematography is brilliant. The VFX is pretty good, but I didn't have mine complete because we got screeners early, and so I didn't see everything complete. So I'll have to go back and watch it a second time. No hardship there. I wasn't sold on Pedro Pascal as being Joel because I'm so close to that, the voice of the character, the way the character looks. But I have to say, within that first episode, I started coming around understanding. I think the actors have been told to take the characters and make them their own, but also adhere to what is the core definition of what these characters should be. And I felt that influence. So everything, for people that love the game, you're going to find influences of their characters I think you'll be happy with it. And I know a lot of people were not on board with Bella Ramsey, who is playing Ellie. I think she doesn't look anything like Ellie from the game, but that's also fine, because there's characteristics and mannerisms that you would see, well, I definitely saw, of the Ellie character. She was also told not to play the game, to make the character herself. But at the same time, she did sneak out and watch some of those clips to get what people really liked about the character and built something her. And so by the time we get to that midway part, probably episode 5, you're totally invested in these two characters surviving. That when anything happens badly or horribly to them, you are on the edge of your seat. And I know what's going to happen, and so my heart still beats fast, and I'm still sad when you get those really horrific moments. The thing that makes this series great, and I would say this series in particular, differentiating itself from the game, is where we get extra lore. So for fans of the game, there's stuff in there we knew of the answers, we weren't shown them, and here we are showing them, sometimes through a flashback at the beginning of a couple of the episodes, sometimes through more dialogue or scenes that we haven't seen or put together yet. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this series that's not in the games. At the same time, you couldn't have all the stuff that's in the games in the series, because it'd just be boring. But there are a lot of things that they do in the series that just will make you smile if you're a lover of the games and go, oh, I loved it when I did that bit thing 200 times. There's also amazing cinematography and nods to the game in combination with each other. A frog on a piano in a swampy building, the things that they have to do by pulling down a ladder. That sort of thing is really attention to detail and love for the fans. And when it comes to the other actors, they're all phenomenal. Anna Torch, who plays Tess, one of my favorite characters in the story that you meet. There are characters along the way like Gabrielle Luna, who plays Tommy, and Nick Offerman, who plays Bill. Characters you meet along the way. You're already invested into our two main protagonists, but what the writers have done in this series expertly and almost magically is make you fall in love with characters that you only see for a little bit of time, because they're only part of the Joel and Ellie storyline for a little bit of that time. When you encounter them, it's amazing by the end of the episodes, or however long they're on screen for, how much you like those characters, which I was surprised by. Considering how many times I've played the game, I still love the characters on screen. So I know there's going to be a lot of hate for this series already, like, why have you adapted this way, expectations on not meeting to your requirements. But at the same time, I really hope people that love the game are able to put their ideas of what a TV series should be, and rather come in and go, this is what we've been given. They've adapted it painstakingly and lovingly, as far as I'm concerned. The acting and the story is still there. My favorite bits and emotional gut punches are still there. I'm not sure that it has the same emotional gut punch, but that's because I've been gut punched many times already by those emotional beats. However, I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with the second season. Are we going to get padding? Are they going to fill it out? Are we going to get seasons 2 and 3 for Game 2? Because the Game 2 storyline is definitely bigger. So I'm going to give this a solid 4.5 Nicolas Cages out of 5.
And you got one. Congratulations.
Still, 5 would be the original game. That story you get to experience because you play the character. But here, the actors have played emotionally with my emotions. The cinematography is excellent, breathtaking at times. The story will break your heart, but also have you invested in those characters. The beats of the pacing of the entire series makes it bingeable, bar one episode, which is episode 4, which is the slowest pacing and most abrupt bit of storytelling in this series. However, it is also one of the bravest stories and most interesting to watch, and heartbreaking. And so it's all these interconnected paths that meet together that end up making a cohesive meal that is just a feast to watch. So let me know your thoughts of this. I'm so excited to see everybody else get their hands on this, their eyeballs on this eventually. So privileged to have gotten the screeners. Thank you to HBO for sending them to me. Wasn't expecting them. Very grateful that I did get them. Thanks so much for watching. Sorry it's been a while. I've been really struggling with this pneumonia. Thanks for being a part of Ruby Tuesday. Most of all, until next time, remember, live long Tuesday.